All right. Shalom. First and foremost, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash. That will honor the apostles, great Muslim, who will and teach well, and the hopeful elect of the house of David, on the folk of the earth, preaching the truth and sincerity and charity, peace and blessings unto you. We're going into a lesson about the definition of the world, all right, and who the Messiah really came for uh, uh, when he was in the flesh, okay? Because a lot of people have this modern day view on world as in the whole earth, as in everybody, when in English in itself has over 10 definitions of world, and then in the Greek there's three definitions of the world. Now, this main belief is really in the Christianity religion, you know, really coming down from the Catholic Church. Now, everybody will read John 3:16. We're gonna pull it out first, and as soon as they hear John 3:16, they mean that they feel like they're included. And when I mean included, I'm talking about the heathens, okay, especially Edomites, the so-called white race. They truly believe that they're included in salvation and rights to the kingdom of heaven, though you're living in the kingdom of heaven right now. So salvation and this world that's coming is not for you. All right. So I'm gonna get John 3:16 here, and it says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever shall believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." Now, before I pull it out in the blue letter, I have just the standard definition of the word world, okay, in the Wikipedia, and then I also have it in etymology, just so you can understand how really the modern day world is perceived, okay? So this is the definition of the word world in the Wikipedia. It says the world is the planet Earth and all life upon it, including human civilization. In a philosophical context, the world is the whole of the physical universe or an ontological world, the world of an individual. Okay. Now, the world of individuals that the Messiah came to save is the Israelites. Okay. It says in a theoretical context, the world is the material or the profane sphere as opposed to the celestial, spiritual, transcendent, or sacred spheres. End of the world scenarios refer to the end of human history, often in religious contexts. Um, the history of the world is commonly understood as spanning the major geopolitical developments of about 5 millennia from the first civilization to the present, in terms such as world religion, world language, world government, and world war, so on and so forth. Okay, but the main thing in here, which I wanted to get, was that it says that the world of a definition can also mean the world of an individual. Now you have the world of the United States. All right, they're in their own world. You have the world of Canada. You have the world of Africa, and then within itself, you have the entertainment world. You have the world of soccer. You have the Sea World. You have Disney World. You have all these different worlds that pertain it onto itself, really. Okay, Chinese culture doesn't exist on a massive scale over here on the Western side. Fake Jews, their culture doesn't true exist on this side as a majority because they're in their own world. They do their own customs, they see their own things and live by different things. It's the same way it is as a nation or as a race. Okay. If you want to add anything to it, brother, just
Yeah, yeah, go ahead. I'm just waiting for the climax.
God. So now we're gonna go into the blue letter of the definition of world. Okay. Now we have here in John 3:16, and the word there is G2889, which is cosmos with a K, not a C. All right. It says an appoint or harmonious arrangement or constitution, order or government. Now that order or that constitution or order was really the Israelites, because who did Yahweh set up Yahushai from? Man, he was from the tribe of Judah, and he was going to rule his people Israel, as it says in Matthew's 15:24. I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. All right. Now, with that with that in consideration, we have to understand precept upon precept and the context of what it's talking about. Now, the Most High never included nations in the promises in Yahweh Shem Shai's righteousness and salvation in the kingdom of heaven, or the rulership with the kingdom of heaven. Because if you're gonna rule, that means you need something to rule over. Okay, if we're all equal in the kingdom, we can't rule over each other. That's like the scripture where it says in Leviticus 25:45 that we should not rule over each other with rigor, meaning hard bondage or oppression. But in Revelations 2, I believe it's like around the 23rd verse, it says that we shall rule the nation with a rod of iron. So who's going to be those nations that we're going to be ruling if the whole earth is destined to be saved and destined to be in the kingdom of heaven and rule? All right.
Yeah, that point right there, you should ask a Christian, because the Lord says He's not the author of confusion, right?
That's right. That's right. So we have here cosmos. Now I'm gonna go and get the other definition of the word world. Okay, just so you guys can see the difference. All right.
So the word cosmos, you looked up in the blue letter.
Con.
Gone. So the word I remember we went into this years ago. The word cosmos originally it meant um like you said, the its own world. Like you have the animal kingdom, and within the animal kingdom you have the different worlds of the animals, right? Like the lion doesn't chill with the gazelle, you know,
Con.
or et cetera, et cetera. But the word cosmos originally meant that, but the guy that he changed it to mean the whole universe was Pythagoras, which was a Greek philosopher. If you look him up, there's a thing called
Con.
the Pythagorean theory, basically. All
Con.
right, and he was the one. I'm reading it here. It says cosmos on blue letter Wikipedia. If you type in COSMOS, which derives from uh, cosmos KOSMOS. Um, it says up here generally, it says the cosmos of the universe regarded as a complex and orderly system, the opposite of chaos. It says etymology. The philosopher Pythagoras first used the term cosmos, ancient Greek with the K, cosmos,
Mm.
which this cosmos is with the C is a new speak basically, right? So the philosopher Pythagoras first used the term cosmos for the order of the universe. See, so he applied it to the whole universe. Originally, didn't mean that. It meant like we're going into a body in itself, a world in itself, a world within a world, so you can understand,
Con.
right? Um, it says, and I have this I forget which dictionary this is called. This is an old dictionary though I got from online, and I have the page here. Like if you could see, all right, this old ass page online, right? And this is actually Greek. You can't look up the words in English. If you could see, this is ancient Greek text. Like you have to actually know Greek to look it up, or somewhat. So the word here down here is cosmos in the ancient Greek. Okay, which I'm gonna read the definition here, which says order, distribution, arrangement, right? Let's see, establishment, the inhabited part of the world, mankind, and then down here, the last part, it says the Jewish territory or people.
See, Jewish territory or people.
Yep.
All right. And then you have Salaki. You have another. See if I can get this real quick, Salakia. You have Aeon. All right, and the definition is G1 65, which means forever and an unbroken age, perpetual of time, eternity, the world, the universe, period of time, age. All right, that's one. And then you have the other one, which is Oikoumene, which is G3625. All right, which means the inhabited earth, the portion of the earth inhabited by the Greeks in distinction from the land of the barbarians. Okay, the Roman Empire, all the subjects of the empire. So you have the first definition, the inhabitant of the earth. So when you really look up that word in John 3:16, all right, it is talking about the whole whole world of Israel, not the whole planet as a whole. All right. Now, we can even go to the whosoever. Now, the thing that people don't understand about the whosoever part, I'm gonna go back to it. Okay, get that John 3:16 again, Salakia.
Yeah, because the
Okay,
brother brought out orthomeni. That's the word for the whole world. If
that's
you want to
right.
talk about the complete entire world, and then eon or ion, which we that's where you get the word eons from, is all it means is age. And a
That's
lot of
right.
times when you look up in in the for example, if you go like for example, type in the word ever, right? Forever. The word ever, that's the word eon. It means age. It doesn't mean forever. Literally means for an age. It doesn't mean eternity.
That's right.
You know, so that's another thing that brothers have to study and do their due diligence. Because sometimes in the scriptures, when it says he reigneth forever, then you think it's talking about eternity, but forever, the word ever again means a time period. Like the Greeks, they're ruling forever, meaning for an age. The
That's
Romans,
right.
they're ruling forever, meaning for an age.
That's right.
It's in this kingdom that forever, Esau tells you means eternity. You know,
And that's when you know it really is also a spiritual thing. Because sometimes when you're at work and things are taking too long, what do you say, man? This is taking forever. But you're
yep.
talking about the time period that you're spending in there, man. It's no different what you were talking
Uh,
about in the definitions. Okay. And then it says also, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. Now that whosoever is only pertaining to a group, okay, of people. Now if you go to Acts 2, which we're gonna go to right now, all right. That's why you need precept upon precept. All right, Acts 2, and I believe it's 20. Salakia. I'll start at 21. It says, and it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. Ye men of Israel, hear these words. Why didn't he say, ye men of the earth? Because the Moses is very specific when he wants to talk to a nation. How come how come in Hebrews 12 and 16 he said that if there be any fornicator of Esau, why didn't he say Israel? Why didn't he say the whole earth? Because the Most High knows who he's talking to. Okay, so it's really your perception on the scripture that's messing you up because you get into your emotion. You don't want to believe that he only came for a set of people. Okay, because guess what? In your head, you still believe in that hell doctrine of okay. So if he's coming from one group of people, everybody else is going to hell. Well, technically, in a sense, yes, your hell is going to be slavery.
uh,
Except for the 2/3 of our people. But yes, you heathen nations are going to meet your hell, which is actual slavery, man, hardcore bondage. All right. Now back to that whosoever. Now, if I'm talking to brothers and I say they come over and one of them forgot their bag and I say, yo, whosoever left their bag here, just let me know so I can drop it off. Does that mean I'm talking about the next door neighbors? Am I talking about the people I saw on the bus or walking on the way here? Is it talking about, am I talking about everybody else outside of the time period of me and these guys are chilling, me and the brothers were chilling? No, because I only send that whosoever to those in the group that left their bags there or left a bag there. All right, so that's the mindset you got to look at it with the scriptures. When the Moses say you whosoever, he's talking about the Israelites. Okay, because he is the world that he loved. Israel is the world that he loved. Going back to Isaiah 45 and 17, which I'm gonna get. All right, because we have to understand the definitions of words and what the Most High is talking about. This is Isaiah 45 and 17. But Israel shall be saved in Yahweh with an everlasting salvation. See, everlasting. The Most High never stopped for the salvation of Israel. He said an everlasting salvation, not a time period salvation. Okay, it says ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded world without end. Does that mean the whole earth, man? Okay, it meant world without end, which is the Israelite. The Israelite world will never have an end because it was established through who? Yahweh Shai. And Yahweh Shai has eternal life, man. He's literally going to rule forever. There's not going to be another kingdom that's going to come and take down the nation of Israel. All right. you want to add anything, you can. I'm gonna get another
Yeah,
precept on that world.
I had Matthew 12 and 31, and this puts things into more perspective, right? It says, "Wherefore I say unto you, all manner of sin and blasphemy shall be forgiven unto men, but the blasphemy against the Holy Spirit shall not be forgiven unto men. And whosoever speaketh a word against the Son of Man, it shall be forgiven him. But whosoever speaketh against the Holy Spirit, it shall not be forgiven him, neither in this world, neither in the world to come." Right? And when
Ooh,
you look at the
so
world, the word world, it's eon, an age. So what does it mean? Neither in this age or the age that is to come, right?
hey, but a Christian, as a Christian, that does that mean there's gonna be another Earth coming into play? If it means the next world, what does it mean? Is he talking about the next Earth, man? Since you guys
Uh,
want to associate the world with the whole Earth, is there another Earth coming? Hey, I gotta back you up on that since we're on a roll, because the scriptures cut you, man. You know, you read the scripture, and the scriptures will cut a Christian in two. Okay, this is on First Samuel chapter 2 verse 8. It says he raised up the poor out of the dust and lifted up the beggar from the dunghill to set them up among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory. But the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he hath set the world upon them. So is there an earth upon earth? You know, this is showing you that the Most High even said earth in this verse. It says, for the pillars are of the earth. So, like, for the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and he has set the world upon them. Okay, and what world is that? Israel. All right. That's who's upon the earth right now that should be ruling it, rightfully so, is Israelites. Right? Throughout the whole scriptures, it keeps giving you different definitions of world. Okay, a lot of you Christians would like to argue back in the fact he's like, oh, but but he said God. A lot of you Christians are stuck on that preference of God loved the world. No, He came for everyone. That's only your precept. That's only how you view the scriptures. No, man. There's not even a verse that's ever said that He came to save a heathen. Not one time. He's never even named another nation for salvation. You can name Israel for salvation, but he's never physically said the salvation of Edom, the salvation of Moab, Ammon, Ham. How come he doesn't name them by name? How come in Revelations 21, when the kingdom of heaven, John saw the kingdom of heaven getting set up? How come he saw 12 gates and not 18 gates? Because there's 18 nations, right? So how come there's 12 gates that represent the 12 tribes of Israel? What happened to the rest? A lot of people like to deny the record. All right, and the record is that the Israelites are the new world to come. All right, because you have also the world of the wicked. You have the world that the wicked one rules. All right, you have a precept.
is it? Yeah, I got two precepts. This is Hebrews 11:3. Through faith, again the word eon. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of the Most High, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. Right? And that's the word eon again. And then I got Isaiah 45 and 17, where it says, "But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end."
Correct.
There's a
And
cut right there, man. These Christians are finished, man.
that's
You
right.
know, they don't know
That's
what the
right.
hell is going on. They don't know how to apply the what's going on in the world, even to the prophecies, man.
Correct.
To what's going on, in the news.
Hey, hey, I got a quick precept. Back that up if you don't mind.
Yeah.
John 18:20. Yahushua answered him, I spake openly to the world. I ever taught in the synagogue, in the temple, whether the Jews always resort, and in secret have I said nothing. So if he's talking to the whole world, why did he only go and teach where the Jews were? Okay? And if you look up that word, Salakia, if you look up that word, in that verse, okay, Shalakia, that word there is cosmos again. All right, which is going back to that orderly arrangement. All right, a more harmonious arrangement, which is a group of people. Okay, he didn't. Okimini isn't in there. Okay, and Ion isn't in there. All right, go ahead, Salakia.
Um, no, that was it on that. I had
You have something else, right?
no. Those are the two precepts I read.
All right, Khan. So I'm gonna go to Matthew 1, okay, and 21. All right, because let's find out who the Lord's people are. Is it a certain nation or is it the whole human? And it doesn't even make sense because if Yahushua was born a man, he had to come through a man and born in one nation. He couldn't be born of all nations. Okay, so that in itself kills that whole. Oh, he walked because some of you Christians will say he walked as a spirit, and you will use that as as a way to include the whole world as well. Because if he doesn't have a nationality, that means he can't belong and really save a specific race, and that's what these pastors have been trying to do, mingle all this foolishness to try to make their words make sense. All right. It's Matthews 1 and 21 says, and he shall bring forth a son, Salak, and she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahushai, for he shall save his people from their sins. Not the world, but his people. And it says from their sins. Now, just according to the scriptures, who was get who were given the law that can only sin, man, the Israelites. And not, nowhere in the New Testament has Yahweh Shai stated that he gave the laws to the Gentiles. There's not one verse that proves that the Most High gave the laws to the Gentiles that they should go off and sin, man. All right, there's not one. Salakia, go ahead.
Yeah, I had since you brought that out, this is Philippians 2 and 5. This mind being you, which was also in Mashiach Yahushai, who being in the form of the Most High, thought it not robbery to be equal with the Most High, but made himself of no reputation, and took upon him the form of a servant, and was made in the likeness of men. So
Mm,
what is that word? What does it mean, likeness of men? He came in the flesh. And
right.
being found in fashion as a man, right? Meaning he had to have tissue, he had to have blood, he had to have all those things like men do. He humbled himself and became obedient unto death, even the death of the cross. You know,
Mm,
for someone to tell you that he was a spirit, how can you nail a spirit to a cross, man? How can you pierce a spirit with nails? You
that's
know?
right. It doesn't make any sense. The spirit don't bleed. You know, that's that killed that whole that God had sex with Mary and then he came as a spirit, man. Because at the end
The
he
Lord had he had spiritual power. You know,
right,
he took up who was it John and I think another apostle or disciple at the time on the mountain when he transfigured himself.
con,
You know, he showed that spiritual body that he had, right? But he didn't. It wasn't time for that. You
that's
know, he
right,
was still in the flesh. He still felt things in the flesh, and he had to, as it says, he humbled himself, man. He came in the form of a servant, right?
con. Was that it?
Yeah.
Con, I have a quick precept. Hebrews 2 and 14. For as much then as the children are partakers of the flesh and blood, and who's those children that are partakers of the flesh and blood? Is the Israelites. All right. Because what did it say that Moses said ye are gods, all right? And also in Jude where it says the angels that left their first habitation, which is a celestial state to a human state, okay? For as much then as the children are partakers of the flesh and blood, he also himself likewise took part of the same, that through death he might destroy him that had the power of death, that is the devil. Okay, so Yahweh Shai, came in the flesh, all right, to what? Overcome death, overcome the wicked one, so that the future generation you see us here now could also overcome the wicked one. Okay, that can get actual true understanding of their heritage, who their power is, and serve them. That was the whole reason why he came in. These heathens, they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're in their lot. They're not lost. That's why I said the lost sheep of the house of Israel, not the lost sheep of the house of the whole planet. Because not the whole planet isn't lost. Esau's doing what he's made to do. Be the devil, man. Okay? The heathens are doing what they're supposed to do. Serve. The heathen are serving whoever's in power. Okay? They're doing their lot, man. Because they were created to be servants in the first place. Right? So all of these people are doing what they're supposed to do, but Israel. And Israel really needs salvation because we have it the hardest. Okay? We're the ones bugged out, speaking on this madness. Okay? Saying that they're God, saying that they're the Messiah.
Hey,
Okay.
brother, I gotta bring this out, man. He's right along the lines. This is First Corinthians 15 and 19. I'll start. It says, "If in this life only we have hope in Mashiach, we are of all men most miserable."
See, all men most miserable, man. We're miserable. Why are we miserable? Because we're underneath a wicked ruler. We have wicked vibrations coming in and out. When you sleep, when you wake up, when you go for walks, you can't escape the oppression, man. These bodies, they're defiled, they're
Yep.
breaking down. And then on top of that, you're warring with the flesh because the flesh wants to do evil, but when you're in this truth, your spirit wants to do good, man. So it's a
Uh,
fight, and it and
yeah, and like the brother's saying, man, like in this world, like you see the people, they boast in their materialistic, things that they have,
kind
right? And we're here talking about the hope, right? Hope and faith and things which you can't see, you can't feel tangibly, right? And these people mock at us, scoff at us, spit on us, and do all these things, man. So we're miserable, but we got to take that, man.
kind
Because of the hope, because that what we're going through is little, man. Like Paul said, it to the glory, to the kingdom. All these little trials that we're going through is small, you know.
kind
Then it says verse 20, but now in Mashiach risen from the dead, or slack it, but now is Mashiach risen from the dead and become the first fruits of them that slept. For since by man came death, by man came also the resurrection of the dead. For as in Adam all die, even so in Mashiach shall all be made alive, but every man in his own order.
see,
Mashiach the first, yeah,
and every man in his own order, because there's an order to things. That's why the elect are getting the first fruits of the kingdom, because their order was they helped create everything. They're part of those first fruits, and then the 2/3 are coming in after that. That's the whole point. And it even said that through Adam all sin, and through Yahushua all are made to life, or come to life. Why? Because Yahushua and Adam are the same being. All right. So really, no one can undo the curse of that sin, which is that death, us dying constantly. The only person that can only reverse that is Yahushua. All right, because truly that's his rightful place. Right? Your Martin Luther Kings can't do it. Your Malcolm X's weren't able to do it. All right, and nobody else after them is going to be able to do it. There's not going to be no pastor coming down floating on a cloud saying he went and talked to God and now you're saved, man. Your pastor doesn't have that ability, nor does he have that power. Okay, did he not say in Revelations 1, Yahushua said that I have the keys of life and death?
con,
So he has the keys to save you or to condemn you. Your pastor doesn't have the right to do that, man. Okay?
con. And then yeah, man, in this kingdom, man, like death, like in the kingdom, we're gonna die too, but we're gonna live our full expectancy, like something that you said too a couple weeks ago. How in this life, man, like it goes too fast. You can't accomplish jack shit in this life, man. You're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, you start to burn out. You know, you're fit. And then you're dead, man. You're lucky to see your grandchildren in this kingdom. You
God.
know, and by then you're already messed up. So in the ancient world, it was different. The animals feared us. You had medicine of life. You had your health. You had all these things, but slowly the Lord started taking it away from Adam, and then Noah even, those blessings were cut after, and just to back it up, and then I'll go back to Corinthians. This is Second Ezra's 7 and and I'll start at verse 46. I answered then and said, "This is my first and last saying that because Ezra's he's bugging out, he's complaining, man. He's like, why are we in this shit? He's asking deep questions to the angel Uriel, right? Um, that it had been better not to have given the earth unto Adam, or else when it was given him to have restrained him from sinning." He said, why are we here, man? You
Con,
know, he's asking, are the Babylonians better than us? Why are we in this captivity? If you love us, why are we all messed up? But he's not understanding. This is the Most High's will.
con,
It's all His will. It's a movie, man. He brings us to paradise. Then he brings us through hell, and then back to paradise, man. It's the way it's the will of the Lord, man. You know, it says, verse 47, "For what profit is it for men now in this present time to live in heaviness, and after death to look for punishment?" That's going into reincarnation. So we're in this life, you know, and prior to us being woken up, all our prior eons ago, we didn't know that we came back, so we just did whatever the fuck we did, and then we came back in this shit, and then we paid for our sins and our iniquities back then, and we still didn't know that we're gonna pay for when we come back, and we still went off and off. It was crazy, man. But the Lord, He breathed into us the breath of life, man. So now we understand what's going on.
con,
People are really lost out here, man. You know, um, verse 48, "O thou Adam, what hast thou done? For through for though it was thou that sinned, thou art not fallen alone, but we all that come of thee. For what profit is it unto us if there be promised us an immortal time, whereas we have done the works that bring death? And that there is promised us an everlasting hope, whereas ourselves, being most wicked, are made vain? And that there are laid up for us dwellings of health and safety," which is that's when the elect are going to be in the kingdom, and that's when death is will be conquered, man. Well, death has been conquered through Yahushua
con.
already, right? Whereas we have lived wickedly, and that the glory of the Most High is kept to defend them which have led a weary life, whereas we have walked in the most wicked ways of all, and that there should be showed a paradise whose fruit endureth forever, wherein is security and medicine, since we shall not enter into it, for we have walked in unpleasant places.
Yeah, and those
Right? All the
unpleasant places,
yeah,
Salakia, those
yeah. Go
unpleasant
ahead.
places are captivities. We've been, ever since the Babylonian captivity all the way down to American captivity, this has been unpleasant to us, man. Getting whipped, working against our will, man. And it's not even just working against your will, it's the time. If you were working 2 3 hours a day, I mean, it would be like okay, but you're this devil has created a time zone where it actually exhausts you. It makes you actually not want to do anything. Then on top of it, you're getting bombarded by wicked images, videos. Your food is garbage, your water is garbage. So we're in unpleasant places, man. And in every captivity has been like that. We've never
And
been
even
able to.
even even during the time of like for example Solomon, that wasn't it was peaceful, but men were still being put to death for committing adultery, for doing this and that. In the garden with Adam and the Adamites, they didn't have to think; they just did, man. They just
Con,
did righteous. They didn't have to even work, man, because after Adam was cursed, he said, "By the sweat of that brow shalt thou eat," man.
con,
You know. Matter of fact, I'm going to look for that because in the ancient world, you didn't have to even till the land. The land would just work itself, man,
con,
and you would just have to harvest it. You know how beautiful that is, man.
con.
But in
Hey,
this kingdom, you have to work, you have to sweat, you have to do grueling work, just to eat.
hey, why? Because this it's under the vibration of Esau, which is really Cain. And what did he tell Cain, man? That curse the ground that thou tellest, man. So the ground ain't even working in this favor. You got to work extra hard to even get some. That's why you have to create GMOs, because the land ain't giving him the food. You know?
Yep, it
Salaki.
says Second Ezra is back. Second Ezra 7 and Salakia. Second Ezra 7, where did I leave off? Okay, and 55. And that the faces of them which have used abstinence shall shine above the stars, whereas our faces shall be blacker than darkness. For while we lived and committed iniquity, we considered not that we should begin to suffer for it after death. Right? Like I was going into. We don't This is literally like a matrix all age over and over again. And even in the Matrix, when you went to the architect, he said, "We have done this how many 5, 6 times, destroy the whole world."
That's right.
you know, and no one knows what the hell's going on,
That's
right? Then verse 57, then answered he me, the angel, right, Uriel, and said, "This is the condition of the battle which man that is born upon the earth shall fight." So when you're born, you're in a battle, man. You're in
right.
a battle to we don't know what the hell's going on. You're Christian, you're Muslim, you're all this shit, all these philosophies that, people that are optimistic, you know, Hindu, Buddhist, and you don't know what the hell's the way. You're completely lost. But now, as I said before, the Most High breathe into us the breath of life, man, and Barakat Yahweh, Barakat Yahushai, Bashem Rakakadash for that, because we would have been completely lost, man. You know, verse 58, that if he be overcome, he shall suffer as thou hast said, and we're suffering for righteousness' sake. But if he get the victory, he shall receive the thing that I say. For this is the life whereof Moses spake unto the people while he lived, saying, "Choose thee life that thou mayest live."
That's
Right?
right.
I remember Moses in Deuteronomy said, "The Lord has set before thee life and death," which the life is these laws, man, and everything contrary to the laws is death. You
That's
know,
right.
I had Genesis, right? I'll quickly bring that out.
Con.
This is Genesis 3 and 16. I'll start. This is another curse for women, man. Childbearing. That was never a thing in the ancient world where you had pains for a woman.
That's
That's another curse. That's another battle. It says, "Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children." So that means prior to that, you didn't have morning sickness like these women do. Sorrow, they're all messed up. They can't do things. It was a smooth ride in the ancient world, I'll say, because
ancient,
this was even
ancient.
before. This
Yeah.
was this was
Yeah.
during the time of the beginning, basically,
Con.
right? It says, "And thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee." And unto Adam he said, "Because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, Thou shalt not eat of it, cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread." Right? In this kingdom, we're not farmers, so we gotta still sweat though, right? We gotta get a
Yeah, work.
paycheck, we gotta work
Yeah.
and buy our food, right?
That's
That's
right.
a that's a curse,
That's right.
right? Till thou return unto the ground, for out of it was thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return,
Yes. So
right?
base Salakia.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm just saying, so you're gonna do this until you die, basically, man. You're not gonna have a rest. You're not gonna be able to just get food just by willing it, or get food just by using power to get it. You're gonna have to work your ass off until you die just to eat, man. And you best believe, especially in this modern day, that's how it goes down, man. If you don't work to get a paycheck, man, you ain't getting nothing. They even set it up where even homeless people it's illegal to feed them, man. So even being homeless, bro, you ain't doing something. If you ain't walking the streets asking for change, clean up garbage bins, or flipping, recycling, or
yeah,
whatever they do, you ain't getting nothing, man.
yeah.
And that curve varies for each different Israelite, on different states and the different status. But the point is, you still have to do something, you know.
That was it.
Kind of. Hold on. Let me get this real quick. This is Second Ezra chapter 6. And I'm gonna start at verse. I'll start at verse 6. No, no, no. I'll start at verse 5. It says, and ere the present years were sought out, and or ever the inventions of them that now sin were termed before they were sealed that had gathered faith for treasure, then did I consider these things. And it was going back to what you were saying, with the Most High's will. The Most High considered everything that happened from Adam all the way down to now. He considered, okay, when I make Adam, which is Yahushai, I'm gonna send him the elect and the rest of my children into these human bodies and make them know how it feels to live like a man on earth, make them go off so they understand what real hard work is, what bondage feels like, what it is to feel low. Because at the end, what is he going to make us? What is the Most High going to make us at the end of this? Judges, right? Now, we're not the Most High, so we can't understand how it is to judge completely because we're not creating evil. He's creating evil. He's creating lowly. He's creating high. He understands them to a T. Us, we have to experience them. Okay, there's
Con.
nothing better than experiencing something. You'll never know how fast a Lamborghini goes unless you truly sit in one and you drive it. You can say a
Well,
Lamborghini is
the
this
word
fast.
experience means just to try out.
And that's what we're doing. We're trying out being mortal. We're trying out what it is to work hard for something. Because, like you said, in the ancient world before Adam said, he didn't even know what working hard really felt like. Sweat, what was that?
Mm, yep.
Slavery. Imagine, right? Slavery. What was that? At those times that didn't exist. Like you said, they just did. They didn't have to think about being righteous. So you didn't think about now in this modern day time, you can't think about being righteous. And to do evil, you just do. You see how the flip side is? So then that's balance. So when Yahweh Shemishah comes back, he's gonna put that in our inward parts to be righteous. And then guess what? We're gonna go back to just doing, not thinking, man. Okay,
I
how
got
does
a
that?
quick precept just to
Yeah,
back you up. This
go
is
ahead.
Psalms 135 and 6. It says, "Whatsoever the Lord Yahweh pleased, that did he in heaven and in earth, in the seas, and all deep places."
Con. Whatever. Read that one more time. Babu Kushra Salakia.
It says, Psalms 135, verse 6, "Whatsoever the Lord Yahweh pleased, that did he in heaven and in earth, and in the seas, and all deep places."
Yeah, so whatever he wanted to do, whatever he wanted to create, whatever he wanted to say, this is how this is gonna be built, this is how it's gonna be destroyed. He did it. Why? Because it pleased him to do it this way. That's why people just say, why didn't he just give us the kingdom? Because that's not what he wants to do. He wants us to earn it, man. All right. He wants us to actually appreciate it when he gives it to us. Imagine if he just gave it to us, we went through nothing, we wouldn't really appreciate what we have. It's just like a carnal man, that's poor and he ends up getting rich. He appreciates the rich the things that he gets carnally because what? He was poor, man. So he
Yeah,
values
well,
those things.
just like Mayweather, right? Because they asked his dad, they're at Mayweather Senior. They're like, oh, I think they were saying something like, oh, weren't you too hard on him as a kid and didn't this and he's just like, well, people that tell me that he's like people that ask me why I was so hard on him and did all this stuff. He's like, look at him now.
Look at him now.
You know?
Hey. That's what Israel's gonna be like, man. Look at them now. When we're in our kingdom and our rulership, it's gonna be that. Look at us now, man. We were at the bottom. We were looked at as nobodies, as scumbags. Look at us now. You know. Um. Yeah, more on that.
Yeah, that was it.
Go on.
And like you're saying, like the Lord, he did this to teach us, man. To be judges, you have to go through. You can't. No one like no nation in the kingdom can say, "What do you guys know?" No one can even say that because we've been through. We know. We
That's
tried
right.
it out, you know.
Yeah, we
And
tried.
even the angels, there's angels that are. I got the quick precept here. There's angels that um that are looking at it, you know, because they know we're their brothers, you know, and
Con.
they're actually desiring to go through what we're going through, but you know everything is subject to its own lot. This is
That's right.
First Peter 1:12, unto whom it was revealed that not unto themselves, but unto us they did minister the things which are now reported unto you by them that have preached the gospel unto you with the Holy Spirit sent down from heaven, which things the angels desire to look into.
Mm.
right? These the angels, they're looking at us like, damn, these guys are going through all this. You know, they're getting hyped too, man. But they have their own lot. They don't have temptations. They don't have. They're not going off. You
That's
know,
right.
like you said, they're not thinking about it. But us, you know, we're in this damn flesh, man. We're in this weak ass body. You know, where every day, like we just said, it's a battle, man. You
That's
know,
right.
or the scripture says, so like the scripture said, it's a battle, man. This is the condition, right? That was it.
Con. Because you said this is the battle, this condition. This is Ciroc 11:14. Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of the Lord. So all these things are really of the Lord. The Lord wants us to be in poverty right now. He wants us to be at adversity. You think that it's just by coincidence, you think it's just by chance. And then going back, what the brother was saying, the angels want to go through this because to them it's like, to them being like this is like, damn man, this is like, it's like, whoa, like this is like a challenge, you know, because looking at it from a celestial view, in a sense, it's like experiencing something you've never experienced before. It's almost like getting hype to do something that you see people doing. You're like, well, I want to try that. I want to do that. I want to do that. But at the end of the day, this is how the Most High wants it. Like the brother said, man, everybody has their order. The angels have their order
Yeah.
for the heavens.
It's
Okay,
just like again, Thor. I gotta watch that again, the first one. I haven't watched it in years, but I forgot what exactly he did. But when he was stripped of his powers, when his father stripped him of his powers, he came down,
Thor.
and I think when he fell, he got hurt. He's like, oh shit. He's like, fuck.
Yeah, yeah,
And he's like, it was the first time, he felt that. And then I think a car came and hit him or something. Like,
yeah,
like
yeah.
he's feeling new things. He's just like, what the fuck's going on?
Come on.
And he's realizing this shit is hard. This
Hey,
is really, really hard, man. Because you don't have your powers.
hey, and what's so beautiful about what you said in the movie Thor, the scene, right? The scene when he went to go get his hammer, right? Remember? He
Yeah,
saw
yeah,
the
yeah,
hammer and he thought he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm back. And what happened when you touched the hammer, man? You couldn't even lift it.
yeah,
And what
yeah.
did it do? It brought him even into a lowly state. Because after that, he was down, man. He didn't even think he had a chance anymore, man. But what was his lesson? He had to learn to humble himself because his power wasn't really in the hammer. The power was within himself. That's why it says, if you know what that scripture is, that the kingdom of heaven is in you. Because people are trying to search for things outside of them, thinking that, okay, well, I have the truth now. It doesn't matter anymore. I know I'm an Israelite. It doesn't matter anymore. But really, it does matter because you have to learn to really humble yourself, man. That's how you really get the kingdom, man. You know, Honor
See, that's
Martazar.
what we read in Philippians. The Lord Yahushua, he came down. He was a servant,
That's
right?
right.
He in his past lives, he was good. You know,
Khan.
to name a few, like you said, Adam, Melchizedek, Isaac. There's
Solomon.
King Solomon. He came as glorious men, and he experienced the luxuries of life. You know, and then when he
Khan.
came back on the scene as the Lord, as a savior of Israel, he came on a donkey, on an ass, which is a sign of humility,
Khan.
right? And as the book of Proverbs says, before honor cometh humility. And the word humility, that's where you get the word humiliation from. So, brothers that joined this is not a glorious thing right now. This is, you guys are thinking this is, some super duper Black Panther, brown beret, American Indian movement thing. This is not that, man. You
That's
know,
right.
this is this is a reprove school. You're getting
Khan.
retaught, and your doctrines that you learn in the world are being reproved, man.
That's right.
And you're being humiliated in this life, in this kingdom. And these people, they can feel it on you when you walk around them, and when you're on the highways, they look at you, they scoff, and if you don't, if you're not comfortable with, you should get comfortable with being humiliated. Really,
That's right.
people talking shit to you. It should be nothing, because really you get on a level where you just overlook these people. These
Yeah.
people are nothing. Even the top man can roll up in a Bugatti and come out with diamonds, and he's nothing, man. It's nothing, you know. Because when the true men get their fame and their power in this kingdom, that's when people are gonna look and see them shining. It
That's right.
actually tells you that they're gonna shine, right?
Khan. Hey, that's that people shall be willing in the day of thy power.
Yep.
You know, imagine at one point Esau was looked down as scum. Man got his power by Yahweh Shemashai. Look how people treat this man now, man. As if he's the shit. Yo,
Hey,
Esau
the Lord said
yo,
he was the basis of men. They were children of fools, and the Lord brought them up on the highest level in this world, man. You know, so that's the
Con,
power of the Lord. He can bring the basis of men and put them up.
that's right. Um, Salakia. I'm trying to look for that scripture where it says, "Marvel not." Yeah, this is 1 John 3:13. It says, "Marvel not, my brethren, if the world hate you." So you shouldn't marvel, man. You should like you said, you should just get used to it. Why? Because Yahushua had to get used to it. He knew that he was going to a people that weren't going to hear him out, man. But the point is, the message still had to come across. Okay, whether they got offended, whether they accepted, that's the job of being an Israelite and being awoken up to this thing. You have to say the truth, whether they like it, whether they not. And people can be intimidated by you. People are gonna think what you're saying is a threat. I mean, like, if anybody else came into the world and said, "Yo, like America's gonna be destroyed," they would bug out too because that's all they've ever. What? America destroyed? Never. Why? Because they have 10, 20-year plans. You know, they don't want to see that stripped out. They don't want to see that everything they've worked hard for is worth nothing. So they're gonna look at you away. They're gonna feel a way. Like the brother said, your spirit's gonna be like a pressure holding them down, man. You don't even need to speak. You can stare at them. You stare at them and you see them look at you like the fuck. Why is this guy looking like that? That was it on that preset. Do you have anything?
Con. I had Job 19 and 6. It says, "Know now that the Most High hath overthrown me and hath compassed me with his net. Behold, I cry out of wrong, but I am not heard. I cry aloud, but there is no judgment. He hath fenced up my way that I cannot pass, and he hath set darkness in my paths. He hath stripped me of my glory and taken the crown from my head." You know, and that's Jake, man. That's really
That's right.
Israel.
Right.
Right? Um, Verse 10, "He hath destroyed me on every side, and I am gone, and mine hope hath he removed like a tree."
Hey,
You know,
hey, that's a beautiful one right there. It says, "My hope has he removed." Because what was the hope? The kingdom of heaven, rulership. That was the hope. Being back on top. Jake has no hope of being back on top. What did they say in the world, man? Just settle for what you got. You gotta do what you gotta do. Hey, they don't even care to even understand ownership or
well, Jake just says I'm blessed anyway. You know, and
yeah,
and, and they're not blessed, man. You get with the little crumbs that the rich man throws off his table, man. You guys are saying you're blessed, man.
fun. Yeah, but you know why? Because they don't want to feel like they got nothing. That's why they're happy when they got a stack, man. They got a
Con,
stack. They're waving in the camera, licking their thumb and brushing it up and down. Why? Because in the inside, you have no hope other than that small stack that you have. That maybe someone will look at you like you're something, or you're on your way to being something, man. Because the
con,
ultimate, to be honest, if you knew example, right? I'll give an example. If you let's say I'll speak in a carnal sense. Let's say you had a deal coming in a week that you're gonna get $1 billion, right? And you know within a week's time that you're gonna be a billionaire. Do you really care if anyone notices you within that week? No, you're not. Because you know as soon as you get that, you're gonna be stunning on everybody. You're gonna be on a whole nother level. So you don't care if someone says this. You don't care if someone says that. Anyone can talk that shit, but in the back of your head, you know what's coming. So in this truth, we know that is the kingdom of heaven, man. That's why we don't care when you can slander us. You can say this, you can say that, but at the end, we know what's coming. And when that does come, Adoram Ratazov a part of that elect, we're gonna be stunting on you, man. All right. And the best stunt ever it's seeing us take down the same person that you thought could never be taken down. That's the beautiful part about it all, man. Yahweh Shemashai is gonna make you marvel and say, "Holy shit!" Men that we used to laugh at, men that we thought were nothing, are destroying and taking out cities, man, destroying Esau's strongholds, you know, putting them in chains, making them build up, making them build up the kingdom, you know. A lot of you guys are gonna be at all at that, man. Just to see regular men being in such a position of power that you could never even dream about, world leader type of things, man. Negotiating, how to build things, how to mend resources. Yahweh Shemashah is gonna bring that knowledge and more to the nation of
Fine.
Israel, starting with the elect.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Are you done with that?
Yeah, that was it. I had a last precept. You had some?
Yeah. You can go. You can go ahead though.
No, no, I was just gonna close off with this, so you just read
Okay.
yours
So I'll do this and then we
because
can
it's
close it
pretty
with
long.
that. I'm just backing you up with the whole captivity thing, Israel not knowing what's up. Lamentations 1
Cool.
and 3 says Judah has gone into captivity because of affliction and
Mm.
because of great servitude. Because like you were saying, man, the Most High removed the crown off our heads, and He used that by what? Captivities, affliction, servitudes to all these nations, especially Esau. We've been in servitude for Esau for 500 years, to the point where we don't even think like kings anymore. We don't even think like nobles. None of that sense. No nobility doesn't even exist in a normal Jake anymore. Okay, you have our women twerking, men low riding, man, showing their trousers. All right, you got these guys speaking about blowing off a man around a corner, man. This is what Jake is into nowadays, man. This weird shit. It says, she dwelleth among the heathen. All right, she findeth no rest. All her persecutors overtook her between the strings, and that's Jake. Jake finds no rest, man. Jake can never put down his pillow, put his head on his pillow and say, "Okay, I'm gonna rest for a day, 2 days, 3 days." You guys can maybe rest for 5 minutes, and it's either a situation at home you gotta do, you gotta run an errand, you gotta go to work, whatever the case may be. It says, "The ways of Zion do mourn, because none come to the solemn feast. All her gates are desolate. Her priests sigh, her virgins are afflicted, and she is in bitterness." And that's really Jake, man. Jake is really in bitterness, man. Jake hates everything. Jake hates the way he has to live. He hates that he's the underdog. He hates that at the fact that society looks down on him. I don't care if you say you're the happiest Jake of life. You know that your position isn't at the bottom, man, and you're unhappy at that, man. Cause Jake likes to be entrepreneurs, the modern day. They like to be entrepreneurs. They like to run their own thing, man. I'm pretty sure every brother when they're in the world, man, they were thinking of owning their own business and doing their own thing. These heathens, they don't really strive to own their own business. The only reason why they do that is because they have the opportunity to, but they don't mind serving. They don't mind doing the laborious work. But Jake has a problem with that. All right. It says her adversaries are the chief. Her enemies prosper. Says, "For Yahweh hath afflicted her for the multitude of her transgression. Her children are gone into captivity before the enemy." And that's really what it is, man. Our own enemies are the chief of us. They tell us how to dress. They tell us how to do our time. Tell us how to speak. Tell us what to accept, what not to accept. Now you got the hate speech. So right there, they're trying to tell you that this is what you can say and this is what you cannot say, or we banned your stuff on the internet. All right, because what, we don't have that king rulership role. We don't have that authority to the point where you get to change society's outlook on things. Well, the elect now have that authority, but as a two-third J, really, you really don't have that authority, especially over Esau. All right. Um, this is the last verse, and then you can go into yours. It says, "And from the daughter of Zion, all her beauty is departed." Our land, our, like I said again, our nobility, man. Even our wisdom, because that's really part of our
Mhm.
beauty too. The wisdom that we had in the world, man. We influenced the world. The world looked at us as such wise people. Now the world look at us as monkeys and savages and just outright crazy, insane people. Okay, says Her princes are become like harts that find no pasture, and they are gone without strength before the pursuer. And who's the pursuer? Esau. Okay, and we have no strength. You can't fight him back. You can't throw his police in jail. Okay, you can riot all day. They're not paying attention to that. You can send letters to the government. They ain't listening to you. You can't write laws and enforce them. Okay, you have no strength against. You can't pick up arms and you can't build an army. You can't function and buy tanks. You don't even have the right to buy. Even if a Jake had the money to buy tanks, you think they're gonna let you buy tanks? You
Hey,
think
what was that rapper from Atlanta? He bought out his apartment complex. Forget his name, man. But he got rich and he bought out. He stayed in the hood. He just bought out the whole apartment complex. But now the FBI is investigating him.
see?
And
And
then, you can't go too far, man.
that's right. Hey, what's his name? Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're saying that the reason why all these allegations are upon him is because he tried to buy
He wanted his
NBC.
own network. Yeah,
Yeah,
he wanted his own network.
and then that comes to show you, if you can't even purchase that, how are you
They're
gonna
like, whoa, whoa,
purchase?
whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on there.
Come on, so stop it. But he's trying to do what? And that's just a network. So how much more a country? How much more your own resources? Okay, there's no strength. Without Yabasha Misha, you got nothing, man. You ain't doing nothing, man. Straight. Go ahead, dog. That was it.
This is Baruch 4 and 24. It says, like as now the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity, so shall they see shortly your salvation from our power, which shall come upon you with great glory and brightness of the everlasting. It says, verse 25, my children, suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from the Most High.
You
For
see,
thine enemy, yep,
that's a commandment. Suffer patiently. So we have to. There is no. You're in the truth now. Now you're gonna get all the blessings. You're gonna get all the glory. You're gonna get all the gifts. You're gonna be in a high place. It says suffer patiently, because this thing really is a suffering that we have to go through, especially when you realize it. That's why it's Esau pushes out the American dream, because you're really dreaming, because your reality is that you're suffering. You're not really living. You're suffering, man. All right. That's why he keeps you in a dream state, because your reality is that you're going through some hardships. Okay, I can't stress that enough, especially when you understand how the old and the ancient world work compared to now. You would love to live in the ancient world. Okay, you would compare to this. You would. I guarantee a lot of you that if you've seen how the ancient world works, you would go there. And Esau likes to display in his movies how the ancient world was garbage and poor, and the streets were mud, and when it really wasn't like that, because you still had ancient buildings and temples where the roads were beautiful, the temples are beautiful, and they're still standing up to this day. So no, they weren't worse off back then. I can pretty much say they were better off back then. Hey, they built castles, man, and those castles are still here to this day.
they built
Esau,
castles, they built pyramids, man. Like I guess another thing, like people today they think this society is so great and high, but you have archaeologists and anthropologists. They're still going to the different kingdoms that the Israelites ruled in, and they're still trying to study their monuments, and they don't understand how they built all these things, man.
that's
But
right.
I thought it was so barbaric and savage.
That's
They're
right.
still marveling at the works of those ancient kingdoms, man.
That's right. That's
Right?
right.
And then even the word patience, it means to suffer. Like you have a patient in the hospital, they call him a patient because he's
He's
suffering.
suffering.
He might
That's
be in
right.
pain, he might not be sleeping or whatever the case is, right? Quick precept. This is Romans 8 and 18. For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us.
Yo, and that's the spirit, because I was actually thinking about that verse in that chapter, and I was actually gonna pull it out after, but you
Con.
brought it out anyway. So there you go.
Yeah,
See,
just yeah.
no, go ahead.
No, just a quick precept.
Con, it said that the suffering of this present world isn't worthy for the glory that's gonna come upon us, man. Yo, whatever we're going through right now is actually light, man. Because what we're gonna get, yo, we're gonna laugh at this. We're gonna laugh at the things we went through now. when we obtain what we're supposed to really obtain, man.
I think in the
All
book
right.
of Job it says it shall be it'll be like a dream.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a dream, and we all know what a dream is. It feels real. You're going in there, and you're like, oh my god. You wake up, you're like, oh, and in a matter of a couple minutes, you forget about it. You're like, yo, I had this crazy dream, but like, I don't even remember it like that, man. That's how it's gonna be
Con,
in this time, man. Just like all our other past lives. Though we don't remember it, we don't feel it now. It's like it never existed, right? So it's the same way
yep,
it's gonna be. Go ahead.
that's right. So back to Baruch 4 and 25. My children, suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from the Most High, for thine enemy hath persecuted thee, but shortly thou shalt see his destruction and shalt tread upon his neck.
Oh, so it says, shortly we shall see his destruction, okay, and tread upon his neck. So there's gonna be actual physical Israelites that's gonna see the destruction physically with their eyes, okay, and they're physically gonna run and destroy these devils, man. Take them out of power themselves, physically get their hands dirty, man. Give them that Bruce Lee, them
Yep,
uppercuts, man. All right.
gone. It says, verse 26, my delicate ones have gone rough ways and were taken away as a flock caught of the enemies.
Yeah.
Right? Like before in Ezra's unpleasant places, man.
Right. That's right. And the key word is, and that comes to show you that us being like this isn't really our true nature, because we're delicate, man. We
Yep,
showed love to one
that's
another.
right.
We were actually kind people, man. We weren't out here looking at people like, yo, why you looking at me, nigga? What up? What up? We weren't like that towards each
But
other.
royalty, right? Royalty is delicate.
That's right.
Like when we were, like you said, from Adam and all those different kingdoms, we were royal. We're delicate people, man. We're not,
That's right.
all like that.
That's right.
Um,
Hey, if
it
I can
says
say
verse.
quick, and that's
Huh.
why the Most High can't accept us living like this, because He's seen us as acting in a royal fashion. So for him, it's like we have a disease, because it's like
Hey, well, you're right, because it says in Isaiah, the whole head is sick.
that's right, that's right. Because it's like seeing your son, right? And think about you had a son, he was wise, he carried himself well, he spoke to the point where people were inspired to talk to him. And then let's say he got amnesia one day, and he woke up and he started acting like a thug, man. You know the first state of him compared to the second state, and you can't take the second state because you know how he really should be. You know, that's how Israel is. Israel's lost that state of nobility and went to a state of a savage or a beast. That was it. Go ahead.
Yep, it says, verse 27, be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto the Most High, for ye shall be remembered of him that brought these things unto you.
Yeah,
Verse
it says
28.
cry unto to the Most High. How do you do that? By praying, man. That's your cry. If you know the names of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, you're really supposed to be praying and giving and blessing those names every day, as it says in Psalms,
Con,
man. I'll bless thy name every day, man, as I wake up, man, because at the end, that's showing that you fear and respect the power, man. Okay.
that's right. It says, verse 28, it says, for as it was your mind to go astray from the Most High, so being returned, seek him 10 times more.
Meaning that your mind should be on this truth 24/7, man, not dilly dallying on, okay, what am I going to do in the next 10 years? You should be focus on am I gonna get out of here next month, the next day, today, next 5 minutes? It's just gonna be all over. When is the kingdom coming? When are we gonna be set back on rulership? It shouldn't be when am I gonna get these diamonds? When am I gonna get this mansion? When am I gonna be able to drive a Lamborghini? When am I gonna get the hottest girl? When am I gonna get a fan? Your things should really be on spiritual things, man. Getting more
And
knowledge,
the
man.
main thing that brothers have to pray for, because brothers always ask, how do I get more faith? How do I? You got to pray for faith, man.
That's right.
And the Lord, He brings you through experiences where He tries you out to test your faith. You know?
Hey, because you said that, can I get this quick preset
Yeah, con.
real
Because
quick?
faith is a gift, man. To like what we're getting into this whole time about uh knowing what we're in and the condition that we're in and the battle that we're in. It's faith. It's and faith is a gift, as it says in Ephesians. the Lord has to give it to you. That's why a lot of the men that come into this and then they fall out, you know, they they were not rooted as the parable of Matthew's was that 13 states, but also they never really had faith, man. You know, they never really believed. You know, they just seen men doing things that they found maybe admirable, you know, or whatever reason it was. They wanted to be maybe a part of something, or you know, whatever it is. But they never had faith, man, because if they had faith, they would know the end of this kingdom. But for whatever reason, they left and they continued on with their lives, man, their families and all these things. But all the things you learn in the truth about the true wickedness of this kingdom, and now it's even more out. Your elites are a bunch of child sacrificing pedophiles, man.
That's
The
right.
people that rule over the people that create these laws. You know, so how do you ignore that? You know, it's in mainstream media now. So everything that we were saying through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, Hashem Rakakadash is all true, man. You know, and again, I'm gonna say it again. It's a gift that the Lord gives to you. So you brothers out there, you pray. The Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, Hashem Rakakadash, Babakusha, increase my faith. You know, and keep praying for that, man. Because faith is the main thing that will keep you stable, right?
Con. I gotta get this precept because you said that First John and 5, and this is the confidence that we have in Him that if we ask anything according to His will, He heareth us.
What does the word confidence mean? The word confidence means with faith. Con meaning with. Fidence is where you get the word faith from. Like you have something called an infidel. Infidel means without faith,
Con,
right?
con. And it even says if we ask anything according to His will, and really according to His will is to increase faith, is to increase wisdom, to the Israelites, man, is to ask for this place to be destroyed, because that's His will. If you're asking for cars and new J's, you know what I'm saying, or the sexiest chick alive, man, high chances you're not gonna get those. And if you do, it's for your downfall, because his will is really to get us out of here, and set us up as rulers. You know, that's all I'm gonna say. Go ahead.
Back in Baruch 4, verse 29, for he that hath brought these plagues upon you shall bring you everlasting joy again with your salvation. Take a good heart, O Jerusalem, for he that gave thee that name will comfort thee.
Hey, and that goes to show you that these heathens aren't included. Because when did the Most High really bring all this hell upon these heathens, man? When did he really uh, destroy you guys the way he destroyed Israel? He didn't. Okay, you guys been ransomed by Israel, whatever. But when did he ever promise you guys that he's gonna glorify you heathens, man? Not once. Okay, the glorification is onto Israel. Okay, because he said that, and I think it's Isaiah 46 and 13. It says, Israel, my glory, man, because Israel is the glory of the Lord, not heathens. All right, and that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting to get back that power. We're waiting to get back that status. Okay, that big dog, and I'm telling you, that status is above celebrity status times 100. It's above president status, Rothschild status. If you think Rothschilds are doing it big, man, wait until you see an Israelite, and I mean the average Israelite. Just the average Israelite alone is gonna be stunting on nations, man. The poorest Israelite is gonna be one of the richest Israelites compared to these heathen nations. You best believe that. So don't think that in our kingdom that certain brothers are gonna get glory and then we're gonna have homeless Israelites. It's not gonna work like that because we're not gonna function our kingdom the way Esau functions his kingdom, man. All right?
Verse 31, it says, miserable are they that afflicted thee and rejoiced at thy fall.
Yeah, and Esau is miserable right now because he rejoiced and he afflicted us. Now guess whose foot is caught in the trap? His. Okay? Now he's going about to be financially bankrupt. His system is falling apart. People are rising up against him. Nations are preparing war against him, man. Okay, and even you can see that the the powers that be that he used to call on are not as strong as they were back in the day, because now he's slipping up when he's doing advertisement, his propaganda. Things aren't as clean as he used to be. Okay, you can tell Esau's unhappy. He's seeing us make these videos day in day out. They're probably watching us right now. Okay, seeing us condemn him, man. They right now they're wishing that they can let us go, but they know if they let us go, what we're gonna do even more, pay into our power even more, man. All right, so they're in a very unpleasant place right now. All right, that goes back to Psalms 14. They have digged themselves into a pit.
It
You can
says,
read, man.
verse 32, miserable are the cities which thy children serve, miserable is she that received thy sons. For as she rejoiced at thy ruin and was glad of thy fall, so shall she be grieved for her own desolation.
Yeah, slavery, they rejoiced. Now they grieve. Why? Because now they can't prosper as they used to. What was the golden age for America? What, 1950s? That was like their golden age. And now they're in a decline for bankruptcy, man. Trying to hold that bubble as long as possible. But
Yep. Verse 34, for I will take away the rejoicing of her great multitude, and her pride shall be turned into mourning.
and that's what you see. That's why you have Donald Trump always saying we're gonna make America great again, because they know America ain't great. America is in a state, or in a dire state of decline, like I said before. They know that America is not functioning the way that they want it to function. They know that all their unrighteous dealing is coming back to their face, and they're trying to escape that. Okay, they see that people are rising up and bringing out information they don't want out. Go ahead.
Last verse 35, for fire shall come upon her from the everlasting, long to endure, and she shall be inhabited of devils for a great time. That
Yeah,
was it.
and that's the nuclear destruction that's coming. You know, and America won't be able to skip its destiny, man. America is destined to burn away forever, man. All right,
Yep.
that's
I just want
that's
to
what
bring
it.
this last thing out. Just because I was saying about how you see, how it's faith. Like you see all these things, you see the heathen in glory, and we're in the flesh, and we might get carnal and jealous about it, But we gotta stay in the spirit, man.
That's right.
Because all these things they're about to come to an end. I'll just read two verses. This is 2 Corinthians 4:17. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory,
Mm,
while we look not at the things which are seen, right? All the glory of the kingdom, this kingdom, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things
mm-hmm.
which are not seen are eternal, man.
Yeah, and that's the kingdom of heaven. Because right now you might look at this place and say it's so amazing, and you might want to get out. Hey, I don't know what you are, but sometimes I'll see on Instagram and they're showing like the most exotic places, and
Oh
have
yeah.
all these luxury things, and some houses have the garage where the car's coming out of the floor, and you're
Hey,
there
why do you
looking at
think,
it.
brother? Why do you think David? He said, "I was envious when I saw the prosperity of the foolish or the wicked."
Gone,
You
gone.
know, because David's speaking in the spirit, like you're saying. Like we see these things, man.
That's
You
right.
know, we
That's
see the
right.
lifestyle of you people, man.
That's right. But what goes into our head? The Most High hates you guys, and if He
Yep.
gave this to you guys, how much more is He gonna do for the ones He loved, man? And that's the end all be all. You gotta think about it that way. The Most High hates these people, but yet He gave them all these things. And truly, these things are actually destroying them health wise, because they have all
Yep.
these cars and what they run on, and then the radiation coming from all these gadgets and stuff, man, is really causing more harm to them,
Man.
than prospering them. And though they may look nice, they're actually shortening your lifespan. So in a sense, it's
Right.
not even worth it anyway. And
Yep.
imagine those people who have all those high tech things. I'm pretty sure they running all that stuff on 5G.
Hmm.
So they're getting sick a lot faster than the average Joe person. All right, that's why they have access to high intake of medicines, and all these different
Yep.
type of vegetables, healings and stuff, because they're around technology that's way more advanced than this. but yet there's a price for that. Everything has a
Yeah,
price.
that's right.
All right. So
Yeah, you can
that
close
was
up,
it.
huh?
So
Yep.
with that, we're gonna close out. Adar Matazad is edifying. We want to say all
Yep.
praise to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai by Hashem Hawakar Kadash. Again, double honors the apostle of Great Millstone and salutation to you, Archeums around the four corners of the earth. The hope of like the house of David, also the confusion of the faces that pushes word in sincerity and truth. Shalom and
Come on.
peace to you. Shalom. Death to America.
Kwame Sharla.
Kwame Sharala.